Everyone, welcome to another edition, special Scandinavian edition of Independent Artists Unite Song Series. From Sweden, we have Peter for me and Melancholy. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
I'm so excited we could finally do this because I've loved your music, and we've been playing tag a little bit with trying to set this up. So I'm super excited to do this because I see you as like the king of Swedish synth pop, and I aspire to be the king of Danish synth pop. So,
Wow, that's right. Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah, that sounds nice.
But I really love what you do, and I love how you describe it in like your Spotify bio, where you are, you're paying homage, up front to these bands like New Order and Depeche Mode that your sound is similar to. But I do think that you're adding something, just like you said, something modern and something new to the mix, and I just love it. I just love it. I mean, of course, I was a teenager, when New Order came out and stuff. So I have that, again, that nostalgic feel that you talk about as well. And it's just wonderful because it has a nostalgic feel, but it is very modern too. I won't say, well, it gives you, I really love the songs in a way that, let's just say, I don't love the songs that New Order put out today. I like the old New Order. I think maybe they're become too rich on their house on the hill. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, I used to. I mean, I listened to New Order so much when I was younger. I mean, that was my main source of music. I think. That was at one point. I think I only listened to New Order. Like it was like a few years. It was like I didn't listen to anything else. It was so good at that time. But I don't think. No, as you said, I mean the latest records were. I mean, it's kind of good, but it's not that good as it was before.
That's right. That's right.
I think the Regret record, that was fantastic, I think, but after that I haven't really listened that much to New Order, I think.
And but this project, it kind of evolved out of a project where you were singing in Swedish, right? Is it Grense? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I started off with that, so it was, and that was only in Swedish, and I just dropped a new album with Gränsen also. But I think I was just I was testing, some new stuff, and then that was, I think, the first song I wrote that became Me and Melancholy was Something, I think, actually. And then I was just thinking, I think maybe I should write a kind of a pure synth pop song. And that came like in a couple of hours. I think everything was done in a couple of hours.
Wow.
Actually. Yeah. So and from there I was because I noticed that this was kind of appreciated by quite a few, so I continued that path also in English.
But I think it's interesting that you are doing both. You're doing the Me and Melancholy in English, but you're continuing. Is there a certain thing that you like with Grense because it's in your native tongue? You feel like you express certain things in a certain way? Or?
Exactly. It's a lot easier to express more precise in your native tongue, I think. So, but I think also that everything that I do with Grensen takes like 5 times the time.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know why, but it's like I have to tweak everything so many times before I'm kind of happy.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm not sure why, but it just takes so much more time, actually.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
maybe it's also because I like to mix in guitars and everything more kind of acoustic stuff in that
okay.
also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, live instruments take more time for sure, that's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And did you have a background in other bands and stuff, or did you get into music, or is this your first kind of foray into music?
Well, I did play music when I was younger, and but then I didn't do that for a long time. I
Mm,
think I started like 4 years ago, maybe a bit 4 or 5 years ago, and then I mean, I kind of when I started now 4 or 5 years ago, I kind of remember how nice it was to
mm,
to make music. How easy you kind of get into the flow. Where
mm.
the hours just pass on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of um, so, but I spend a lot of hours doing music now, but it gives me also lots of, energy
Mm,
for the ordinary job, so to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
But along the way too, you've produced it all yourself, so you were learning as a producer as well along the way, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been it takes time,
Mm.
so, but I'm still learning,
I think it
but
sounds fantastic,
yeah.
though. I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
uh, oh, thanks. But just every time you make something new, you kind of realize that, oh, why didn't I think about this before? But
Yeah.
and um, I think before my first album with me and Melancholy, it was summer, and I studied a lot about
Mm,
producing and how to mix and everything. So I put in lots of hours there, and I thought that okay, now I know everything, but I didn't. So I continue to start to learn more, and you realize that you know very little.
yeah. There's always more to learn, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But it's also um, I mean it's kind of it's nice also that when you do everything, if you don't get someone to mix and produce and master everything, then you have to learn that stuff, and but you kind of you learn and you get a lot quicker at doing that
Mm,
uh, after a while. From the beginning it took so long time, but uh, now it's I mean you can get a rough mix pretty quick now, but before it could take weeks to get
yeah,
something to sound pretty
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And are you entertaining an idea of producing other artists at all, or are you just gonna stick with your own music?
Uh, well, I'm not. I could absolutely do that. Absolutely, I've got some questions about that actually, but and I could absolutely do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be fun.
yeah,
Fun to do something that you haven't, made yourself. Maybe. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
good experience, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so today, we were going to talk about Never Give Up. It
Hmm?
seemed like a song, which I love, by the way. It seemed like this was a song that was very important to you. Can you talk
Yeah.
about how this one came up and what it's about?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. It is pretty important. It was. I think I mean, it's kind of emotional. It's like it's about my kids,
Mm,
and they were going through a very tough time in life, and
mm,
uh, and um, and I was like, I didn't really know what was going on. I was
mm,
like, they kind of didn't go to school, and I didn't know what's happening,
mm,
and but they were. It was a tough time, and then um, we went to to doctors and stuff, and
mm,
we did this uh, some investigations, and they came to the conclusion that they had like HDD. So
mm,
after that, I think they got medications, and now they're good again.
mm,
But it was very tough during that time,
mm.
and I didn't know how to help them actually.
Yeah.
So the song is about that. I mean, I wanted to do everything for them, but
Mm.
and I really didn't know how to help them. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. I have three
mm,
kids myself, ranging
mm,
from 12 to 15. So I
yeah,
know they're also kind of going through similar things. I mean, at least one of them for sure has ADHD,
mm,
which she
mm,
hasn't been medicated yet, but she's yeah, has a hard time in school and stuff like that.
mm,
It's interesting because I just saw this woman speaking about kids nowadays. Apparently, it's at an all-time high for kids to not want to be going to school and
yeah,
having these feelings about the way they're being taught. And she was like, well, she was kind of talking on behalf of kids because she said it's because they're completely different than we were when we were kids.
yeah.
They're
I,
processing information at such a speed. They really are like a new race of humans. and
yeah,
and she says it's not because they're like sitting on their phones too much or on the computer too much. They're just living on a totally different level on what they're processing and what they
mm,
actually what like kind of she was saying like the beings that they are spiritually as well. Like these are the
yeah,
people that are going to save the earth. So they
yeah.
had to be a special generation. um
Yeah, exactly. And I think while we were, doing this test for the kids, these tests, I mean, they are super fast at pattern recognition.
mm,
So, and and that is something similar to what you said. I mean, they
yeah.
process things in a different way, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
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 So, but as you said, I think it's kind of sky high now. These things, but when we were younger, I didn't think we didn't have an alternative. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, get in shape and go to
Yeah, right,
school.
exactly.
you know?
He's just spastic.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Actually,
think,
hyperactive, they called it. That's what they called it when I was a kid. Hyper. Oh, he's hyper.
yeah,
He's hyper. He's got to be doing
exactly,
something all the
really,
time. He's hyper.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
yeah, and I think yeah, we do stuff differently now, I think, in
Thank
society.
heavens. Thank heavens.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Oh, wow. That's really cool that it's about your kids. I
Mm.
didn't when I first heard it, I thought I almost thought it was about, I was picturing a friend that was, that was dying of something and of cancer or something
Uh,
like that. It's interesting.
okay,
Yeah.
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 But I mean, it could, yeah. I mean, you could interpret it as you want, but it's, I mean, that's what I wrote it for,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
I
but
just love that. Yeah. Just love
mm,
that. I mean,
mm.
I love learning. I love doing this show and learning what songs are about because I'm going to listen to that in such a different way now too, having kids myself, and
Yeah,
now I got to play it for my kids and my partner. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's
exactly.
beautiful. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And what
So,
about the actual? So for this one, did the lyrics come first, or do you play around with the synth? parts first, or how did the creative process of Never Give Up come?
I think uh, usually I mean I do stuff in a kind of parallel. I think I mean I do some music and I add some lyrics
Okay.
and then I work it forward, you know. And this was certainly the case with this also. I maybe I think I actually came up with, you know, maybe the first verse lyrics, and then I kind of put together some music for that and continued from there, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always kind of do that. I mean, I want to, you know, early put in some vocals. It doesn't need to sound fantastic, but I want to, you know, get the feeling about, you know, how it's going to turn out in the end somehow
Yeah.
early. Yeah. And then I can decide if, okay, is this something to continue doing or should I just scrap it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this one, you had like the first verse, so you knew that it was going to be a song about your kids, then.
Yeah, exactly,
From the
exactly.
start. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. And
And
then you
then
kind of built the music around that idea. So yeah, because it's interesting too with your name, me and Melancholy. I always like, I'm very melancholy myself. You know, a lot of people, you know, that are close to me are not so crazy about that.
yeah.
But I would always, you know, whenever I was in bands, I always joke that I pick up a guitar and I'll start strumming it. I will write a sad song every time. It's just what comes out of me, you know. And so I love that you kind of address that idea right up front, which is that's me and Melancholy. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
And
But I think I think as I mentioned, I mean I kind of made that something song first, and then I had a bunch of other kind of half-finished songs, and they were all very melancholic, you know. So I thought, okay, this is going to be even more melancholic than Gränsen, I think. But I'm sure I mostly I love that kind of, you know, songs, you know, that has some kind of melancholy in it. I really don't listen much to other kind of music, I think. I
yeah,
mean,
same with me. I'm drawn
sometimes,
to
yeah,
Melancholy every time.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I mean, sometimes when you need something, you know, to pump up, you know, maybe you want something more upbeat, and you know, but
when the album's dragging down.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, maybe but I think I would prefer, you know, to have kind of pretty slow melancholic music all the time.
Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, you have to mix it up with something, you know, more upbeat, I guess.
I meant to say too that I like your logo with me and Melancholy and then the butterfly there.
Ah, yeah.
I thought that was very, I mean, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I thought of it as uh, like me and Melancholy, like that there is this transformation that happens through melancholy feelings, you know, like the butterfly transforms from the caterpillar, you know, that these feelings, when we work through them, you know, that they become, I don't know, I guess it is a spiritual experience. So you when you work through these things, was that something that you were thinking of with that?
Yeah, I think it was kind of, I mean, I like the butterfly, as you said, you know, kind of the, you know, the transformation of, you know, and I think it's something similar. I think when I first came up with it, it's like I really love the butterfly. I mean, it's like it's fantastic, you know, to see that, you know, transformation from a what is called in English,
From a caterpillar?
yeah, from a
Caterpillar?
caterpillar. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, it's so fantastic transition, I think. So it's kind of spiritual, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
Um, and when I'm curious when you are like approaching like the music for one of your songs, do you like to like do you play around with sequencers and stuff first and get like a groove going with a sequencer, or are you tend to play keyboards, or what? Do you have an approach as far as that's concerned?
Mm, I think I think most often I got something, some idea in my head, and
Mm,
I think I don't use, sequencers that much at the beginning, I think, but I have this melody or this bass line going on in my head, and
yeah.
and I want to kind of just nail it down. Sometimes, and it's sometimes it's quite often, but when I'm out walking in the streets, I got this idea and it's in my head, and I need to get home and get this on the keyboard because I'm gonna forget this soon. So, but so it's so often, and quite often I forget about it. But but I kind of I use this kind of this voice memo on the phone, and I
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of hum the melody, out in the street,
Yeah, I do that
just
too. That's
remember
some
it. Yeah,
looks. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, before I, did that, it was I forgot everything, every melody I was, having in my head. So
Yeah.
this keeps a bit of that actually. So it's
Yeah.
so it's better to do that. Mm.
Do you have any plans of doing live shows with me and Malachi, or do you do live shows? Or
Not not really yet. So, but I mean, I haven't really planned for it, but if a good opportunity comes up, I mean, I would absolutely do that.
yeah, yeah,
So but it's more like you have time for it. You have your ordinary work, and
yeah,
so. But if the right time occurs, I would love to do that. It would be fun, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what your philosophy is, since you can like do all of your music yourself, produce it yourself, and nowadays, of
Mm,
course, promote it yourself with streaming and everything. Do
mm.
you do you have an idea that you want to get a record deal eventually, or are you happy just putting out your own music and controlling everything about it?
Um, I don't really have an idea about it. I
Yeah,
think it's kind of it's working pretty good. I mean, nowadays. I mean, uh, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe if that would be beneficial, but I'm not sure actually. But
yeah,
it's kind of nice to also to be able to control everything,
yeah.
and but the one thing that could be of benefit is like sometimes you need to you want to get a good second opinion about something. I
Mm.
guess that could be, but I think you could get someone else maybe to get a second
Yeah.
opinion. But that could be something that could be beneficial, I guess.
Yeah.
So that because sometimes you take bad decisions, of course. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it seems like you're getting a lot of streams and stuff on Spotify and everything. Do you have like I know you also curate some playlists, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I wasn't sure you were all actually. This is funny because we're coming to you. I was not. I had no idea that me and Melancholy and Granza and the Loud Arc playlists were all the same person.
Ah,
So
okay, yeah.
I only discovered the Granza thing a couple of days ago. I said, wait a second, isn't that the same name? And I looked, oh, that's the same person. And then I saw,
Yeah.
and then I saw your a playlist because I submitted my music to your playlist. I
Ah,
got up
okay, yeah, okay, okay.
and then I said, because then I always try to thank the playlist person
Ah,
with a post, and
yeah.
get it to their um, get it and tag their Instagram post, because I just, want to thank you and make a connection. And then I was like, wait a second, this is him again. So you're quite busy. You got quite a few playlists, right?
Yeah, I have a few. Exactly. But yeah, I think it's nice, I mean, that is one part of, promotion, but I
Yeah.
don't think that is not where you get your, main streams from. I think playlist pitching is, I mean, you get some streams, of course, but that's not the majority. I think it takes time, but you have to build some kind of, fan base to get people to come back and listen to your music, I think. Because so I mean, I think you have to have everything, I guess, in the mix.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But
and how do you go about building a fan base? Are you mostly on Instagram, like connecting with people?
Yeah, I think, yeah, you could do some kind of Instagram ads. You can, where you address people that like kind of the similar music to what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that is where you find your audience, I think. I mean, playlist listeners is, I mean, they could be active, but most certainly they are not very active listeners, I think. So
I see.
you need to
That's a
you
good
need
point.
to find the active listeners, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that takes time, I think. But so you cannot be in a rush.
Yeah.
You have to,
That's what my friend says. It's a slog. You just gotta keep going. Yeah.
Exactly. And never give up. You have to,
And there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
We've come full circle.
Exactly.
That's a good place to stop. Never give up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. It's been delightful to meet you, and well, maybe we'll meet in person someday. I'm just across the pond here in Denmark, so.
Oh, you are? Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm in Copenhagen.
Right.
So.
Oh, cool. Right now I'm in Spain, but usually in Stockholm. So yeah, absolutely. That would be
nice.
Well,
maybe we can do a gig. The synth pop guys, the Scandinavian synth pop guys.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. That would be cool.
All right, Peter. Well, enjoy the sun there.
For having me.
Yeah, enjoy the sun there in Spain. I'm sure that it won't be the same in Sweden.
I know it is not. It's like, oh, it's so cold. Because you're in Denmark.
Yeah.
You have a few more degrees in Denmark, I guess, but it's cold.
It's still pretty dismal. It's
like
the lack of sunlight.
Degrees.
It's the lack of sunlight. That's what gets you in Denmark. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Although that today we have a brilliant sun, so never give up. Never give
exactly.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
Okay, Peter. Okay. Talk to you soon.
See you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.